Ladies and gentlemen, again, thanks for standing by, and welcome to the Pension Fund Year-End Update. At this time, all parties are in a listen-only mode. Later, we will conduct a question-and-answer session. If you should require assistance on today's call, if you'd like to ask a question, please press star and then 0. As a reminder, this call is being recorded. At this time, I'd like to turn the call over to our host, Mr. James Hamlet. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Operator. Hello, everyone. I'm delighted that you have joined us today for this year-end report. For the next hour or so, I will be your host for this question and answer session. As is our custom, I have several of my colleagues sitting with me today who I will call on in the event that they may best be prepared to answer your question. In particular, I would introduce Duncan Draper, our Vice President, Chief Financial Officer, and Treasurer; David Stone, our Vice President and Chief Investment Officer; Eugene Fisher, our Vice President for Employer Services; Sandra Michael Bowers, Vice President for Member Services; and Michael Porter, Director of Healthcare Services. As stated earlier, this session is being recorded and it will be posted on our website early next week. So if we run out of time and your question has not been answered, you may want to dial in your question or type in your question to our website at pfcc1@pensionfund.org. Please keep in mind this is a public forum, and as such it is important that you do not ask us a question specific to your accounts. We do not want to reference anything that would violate your personal privacy for your accounts or your situation. We will open for questions in a few moments. I do have a few very brief comments. For the Pension Fund and its staff, 2013 was a year of significant success as well as challenge. We have discussed on various occasions and in different ways some of the challenges that we faced with the implementation process of our data system. There really is no need for us to provide further explanation at this time, but to the extent that these challenges have impacted negatively our responsiveness to your phone calls or emails, we again offer our apology and commitment to restore our service capacity to a proficiency any of you should expect. The data system has principally been normalized for the vast majority of those we serve, and efforts to complete the task of full implementation are meeting with good success. We expect to deliver quarterly statements in the first 2 weeks of April, which will reflect the action of our Board of Directors to grant good experience credits of 8.5% for tax-deferred, benefit accumulation, Roth IRA, and legacy IRA accounts, which were active on December 31 of last year. The good experience credits will be based upon the average principal balance of each account in 2013. Good experience credits will be added to your accounts to the principal balance on March 31 and will be reflected in the first quarter statements. For those of you who are pension plan members, the annual statement of pensions will be sent out in late April probably. It will reflect the action of our Board of Directors to grant a 6.5% special apportionment based upon the principal balance or the pension credits that you have in your account if you're not retired, or your actual pension at December 31 of this past year. Pension increases and pension credits will be applied on July 1 and will be reflected in the statement that we send to you in late April. We're delighted to be in a position to offer both the benefit accumulation account and TDA, IRA, Roth IRA good experience credits, as well as the special apportionment for your pensions. Staff has worked very diligently, as you might expect, this past year, and we are delighted to be in that position. With that, let's open for questions. Operator?
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to ask a question, please press star and then 0. You'll hear a tone. An operator will then take your name and further instruct you. If you're using a speakerphone, please pick up the handset before pressing the numbers. Again, if you have a question, it's star 0 at this time. And our first question will come from Edward Colby. Please go ahead. And Edward, your line is open.
Hi, Ed.
Mr. Colby? And no response will be just a moment as we get another party in queue here.
Okay.
And if you've given your name to an operative, then please press star 1 at that time. And Dr. Leslie Seaton, your line. And Dr. Seaton, your line is open.
Yes. Hello. Am I speaking to someone?
Yes, you are.
I have a question or two to ask about my pension.
Yes, sir.
That is, I am receiving a small pension of $2,275.33. This is inadequate for my subsistence. In what ways could the pension fund help me to offset my expenses or give me some grant toward my living expenses?
Mr. Seaton, that is a question that we will need to call you back on. We're not prepared to discuss that in a public forum. So can we call you back tomorrow?
Yes, you can.
Okay. We will call you tomorrow on that question.
Okay. The second question is, has the death benefit increased? If so, what is it now for a retiree who dies and to pay to his beneficiary?
If one is eligible for a death benefit, it is up to $10,000 in retirement.
Okay, if one is eligible, what makes one eligible?
Sandra?
A pensioner is eligible to receive a death benefit, or the family is eligible to receive a death benefit if the member retired from active status, meaning that the pension dues were paid up to the time that the person retired.
Okay.
The death benefit is equal to 3 times the annual salary up to $10,000. The annual pension amount up to $10,000.
3 times pension up to $10,000.
Right.
And how is that paid?
Well, it's paid directly to the beneficiaries.
Okay, thank you. Now, this has to deal with my performance. I am an author and writing, and I am seeking a grant for a book that I intend to publish. Would you give me a grant to publish?
That is not within our mission statement, so we could not do that, sir.
Okay. Do you have any reference distinguished publisher that you could recommend to me?
I would suggest you call Christian Board of Publication.
Okay, Christian Board of Publication.
Okay.
What is the telephone number? You have it?
Sir, what if we call you tomorrow and we'll answer those questions for you tomorrow?
What time tomorrow you'll call me?
I don't know where you're at, so I'm not sure.
I get here at 8 o'clock. I can call you 8 o'clock Eastern Time.
You call me about 8:30 Eastern Time.
Right.
Okay, my telephone number you have, or should I give you?
I think we have it on your file, so we will call you.
Okay, all right. I expect the call tomorrow morning about 8:30.
Thank you so much.
And our next question is going to come from Edward Colby. Please go ahead.
Yes, this is Edward Colby.
Hi, Ed.
I've been retired. I've been an active disciples pastor ordained for 54 years, and many people, unfortunately, know me. No, that's fortunate. And we do appreciate the pension fund. Every morning when I drink coffee, many times out of my pension fund mug, I'm thankful. Now, my question is, if I have money in one pension fund account and it pays less than the other pension fund account, can I put the money that's in the less pension fund account into the one that pays more?
The answer
to your phone.
Yeah, this is Jim Hamlet. I think the answer to your question is, if you have money in a benefit accumulation account,
yes,
that pays a lower rate of interest, you cannot put that into a tax-deferred account, which has a higher rate of interest.
Okay.
Cannot.
Okay, I hear you, Jim.
Now, keep in mind that with the good experience credits, that your TDRA will have earned, against last year, 11.75 return. Your BA would have been
10.5.
or 10.5. So it's a little bit less, but both very nice returns.
Yes, they are. Okay. The next thing is I'm wondering what my death benefit will be, and does my wife get a death benefit even though she was in the pension fund and then is, retired earlier?
Yeah, I think, Ed, we better look that up and call you back with respect to your wife. As I know you did, you retired from active ministry. You would be eligible for the death benefit in the event of your death, up to 3 times your pension, up to $10,000.
Okay, so I'm sure I would get the $10,000.
Well, it depends upon what your count would be.
Sure.
Sure.
Now,
but
do you
we'll
want
have
my
to check
phone number?
We have it, sir.
Well, I know you do.
Yeah.
You even come to the dinners at TCU.
Yes, we do.
Let's see.
We'll call you tomorrow morning.
Okay, I'm in Texas.
I know. We'll call you at 9:30 Eastern Time. We'll be 8:30 your time. Is that okay?
Yeah, 9:30 is good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to talk with you, Ed.
Our next question will come from John Oquendo. Please go ahead, John.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I called this 1 p.m. and I wasn't able to get through somehow, but I just wanted to be on record that I participated in the teleconference and that I was trying to get through somehow, and I wasn't able to, or the operator didn't connect me somehow.
I'm sorry. How can we help you now?
Well, sir, I pastored for a brief time the Disciples Church in Lakeland, Florida, and I'm getting like $102. And I'm just wondering if, as a result of this gain in the pension money, if come July, will I get any extra benefit?
Okay. As I said at the outset, we cannot discuss individual situations on this line.
Oh.
So we will call you tomorrow if that's okay.
Okay, sir, that's fine.
Okay? We will call you tomorrow and answer that question.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bob.
And our next question will come from Bob Welsh. Please go ahead.
Sir, 2 questions.
Yes, sir.
When I was doing my income tax, I was surprised about the change in minimum distribution. Can you tell me what happened there?
Sandra, do you want to respond?
Well, the minimum distribution is based on a life expectancy factor. So the older you get, the more, the higher your minimum distribution is going to be.
But this year, my statement showed that what the federal tax withheld was 10%. In the past, it's been much more than that.
We are required to withhold 10% unless you designated a different amount. Without looking into the.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to call you tomorrow.
Well, that's okay. I just want to know, and I can ask for a larger distribution. My second question is, and the person who talked about death benefits caused me to ask this question. When I die, which I know I'm going to do sometime, hopefully not too soon, what options does my wife have then in terms of, I gather she would receive until she marries 1/2 of my pension, but in terms of the amounts in my savings account, what options does she have there?
Well, in general, Bob, the normal distribution for a surviving spouse for pension would be 1/2 of the pension that's being received, as you know, unless you elected something different at the time of retirement at age 65.
But how about my savings accounts?
Okay. With respect to the savings accounts, if you have a TDRA, then she would continue to receive or have those assets, and the minimum distribution would be based upon her age from that point forward. Benefit accumulation accounts, it would not. She would receive the full value of those accounts and could do with as she wished.
Okay, so she could keep those at the pension fund and.
The TDRE certainly could be kept here at the pension fund.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Again, to ask a question, it's *0. And our next question will come from John Isle. And John, your line is open.
All right. My question has to do with withdrawals from the accumulation benefit account or benefit accumulation account. When that's done electronically now, is there a service charge for that electronic feature?
If one has the distribution done by a procedure called ACH, which is a one-day transaction process, there is no fee. If you ask for a bank wire, which is same-day transaction, there is a fee.
I see. The request still needs to be submitted in paper, I gather.
That's correct.
All right. You're doing a good job, and your predecessors did a good job, too. We really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you so much.
And again, if you'd like to ask a question, please press *0. And we do have a couple more with operators. We'll gather their names. If you've given your name to an operator, you can then press *1 if you still have a question. And as we wait, I'll just remind everybody it's *0 to get your name to an operator to ask a question. Then if you've given your name, at that point you can press *1. But first you have to get your name to an operator. Our next question, we've got a follow-up from John Isle. Please go ahead.
The question, since you have a time gap. I think I missed some of the opening statement about additional benefits or good experience benefits to the various accounts. Would you please go over that again?
Absolutely. For tax-deferred accounts, benefit accumulation accounts, Roth IRAs, and legacy IRAs, there will be an 8.5% good experience credit applied to the principal balance on March 31, based upon the average principal balance in 2013 for those accounts that were open at the end of the year. For pensions, there will be a special apportionment of 6.5%, which will be a 6.5% increase of pensions or pension credits accredited on July 1, based upon the pensions or pension credits at December 31 of this past year. So that's a 6.5% increase in your pension, 8.5% to each of your accounts if you have them.
And our next question will come from Lyle Predmore.
I'm retired and doing my taxes, but I'm a little confused on, I can money that I use for housing is tax exempt from my retirement plan, right? But I'm not clear. Doesn't seem to be any IRS guidance on what that includes. There's sort of some general things like, of course, your monthly house payment, utilities, but then the cable, TV. How much of these things are usable?
I'll ask Sandra to respond to that one.
Your housing allowance may include mortgage or rent, utilities, insurance.
Furnishings.
Yes, furnishings. You cannot include cell phone, computers, tablets, maid service. If you're your long distance phone, if you have a landline, you cannot include long distance. It has to be just local calls.
Not cable.
And cable's not included either. It's just basic what you need to maintain the home.
Okay. Okay, well then I have another question. Since retirement, I've been involved in church pastoring a couple of churches in Indonesia, in Bali. These are global ministry partners with us, but anyway, we have a thing set up for retired clergy to go for 3 to 5 months at a time to pastor these churches. Mm-hmm. And because I'm working in my profession there and so forth, I've been deducting expenses, travel expenses, and so forth. There's no reimbursement for this for pastoring these churches at all. I've been deducting them as non-reimbursable expenses on my taxes. But I continue doing that job. I'm the coordinator for getting pastors assigned to these two congregations, and so my work continues when I'm here. And so it seems like I should be able to put some of my internet expenses and things on non-reimbursable business expense. I don't know. This is kind of a unique thing whether anybody else has had that problem or not.
Well, I really think you need to have professional tax advice that is outside of our area of expertise.
Okay. Well. Okay. Yeah. One suggestion was, my son and daughter-in-law do this. They use a State Department's per diem rate instead of releasing the expenses. They just use a per diem rate for whatever country they're in.
Well, again, I think you need to check with a professional tax provider or tax accountant to help you with that, because we're simply not familiar with that set of regulations.
Well, there's nothing in writing. I can't find anything. I go through Form IRS Form 517, 40 pages on clergy taxes.
I understand. That's all the more reason to have professional advice.
And it's not in there. It's not in there at all. So, but I while I'm in Indonesia, I itemize my expenses, but it was suggested that I could use a per diem instead of itemizing. But
that may be true, but I have no knowledge of that. So
no knowledge of that. Okay. Well, thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, sure.
And the next question comes from Ivy Hughes. Please go ahead.
Yes. Can you tell me whether or not my retirement is based on my age or the number of years I have paid into the pension fund?
Your pension is based on the amount of pension dues that were paid in on your behalf.
Yes.
So it's not, well, unless you retired early, or you're planning to retire early. The normal retirement age for pension plan is age 65.
Okay.
There is a reduction in the pension if you retire at age 60 up to age 65, and that's so that we can make the pension last longer.
Well, no, I have another year to go before I reach 65. So I didn't know whether it was 65 or 66.
The Social Security normal retirement age is now 66, yes. But we've kept our retirement age at 65.
Okay. That's the only question I had then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And our next question will come from David Dowell. Please go ahead, sir.
Hello. I have more than one question. This is something I just recently, like the last, I'd say 12 paychecks, and I get paid bi-weekly. I did this thing called SRA. Well, it says PFCC. That I'm sure PFCC stands for Pension Fund Christian Church. But I just told them I'd take that out of my check rather than what I take home, $50. And then the other thing is just employer-paid benefits, which they go ahead and pay into my account. All I want to know is some information on the PRA pension fund. What am in other words, is it the same as the other? Can I have that? Sure, it has the same benefit or the amount interest on it, but what I mean is it different as far as you withdrawing it? Or I've never withdrawn anything out of this, and I have.
Well, my sense is that we need to talk with you a bit more in specifics to understand exactly the accounts that you have. Can we call you tomorrow?
Well, I mean, I'll be at work tomorrow, and you're not available on the weekend, are you?
We are. No, I mean, we're not available on the weekend. We can call you on Monday.
Still work Monday through Friday.
Okay, I tell you what, we will look up your account, and we will find a time that's convenient for you.
Okay. I mean,
okay.
I do have a answer machine on my telephone that you can call. My main thing that I had a question about was that SRA, how that was different because it's drawing the same interest, and how this, if I could withdraw from it, or if it was basically the same thing as the employer-paid benefits, or what it amounted to. You know what I'm talking about?
Who is your employer?
My employer is Texas Christian University.
Okay. Is there, because there's an hour difference, is there any way that we can give you a call before work starts, since we're an hour ahead of you?
I mean, what I'm telling you is I'm Central Time, and I leave the house between 6 and 6:30 a.m. So
okay.
That's going to be, 7 and 7:30 your time? I mean, this is Eastern Time, correct?
Sure. David, let us look into your account, and we will communicate with you and find a convenient time to talk with you, even if it's on the weekend.
Oh, hey, thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And our next question will come from Sue Malat. Please go ahead.
Yes. Hello. My question's kind of mundane, but I used to receive a quarterly, I think it was quarterly, statement listing the retirements and deaths in retirement. And I was able to give memorial funds for my friends when I received that. And I don't think I received it anymore. Are you no longer sending that out?
The deaths of people, of members in retirement and in active service will be in the next edition of The Bridge.
Okay.
Should be going out in a couple of weeks.
I think it's been some time since I've received it, and so I've missed that.
Okay.
All right. Thank
you
very much. I'm glad to hear that. And I do appreciate all that you do for the retirees, and you do good and faithful service. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue.
Mm-hmm.
And currently we have no further questions in queue. We have one queuing up here. Just a moment, we'll get their name here. And it is *0 to get your name to an operator. And our next question is going to come from Philip McKinley. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Doing pretty good. I have a question about the housing allowance and the fact that it doesn't appear on the 1099 or W-2, and yet you ask for us to determine that once each year. What's the point in doing that?
Well, okay, there are two parts to the answer. One is that the pension fund takes a resolution to grant 60% of one's pension
yes.
as parsonage allowance. or unless somebody wants a different amount, in which case we will grant that.
Okay.
So that's the first step. We have to do that in order for you to even be eligible for a parsonage allowance.
Okay.
Now, once we've done that, then you have a parsonage allowance that is the lower, you can declare the lower of your fair rental value of the house or your place you're living, what we have declared, or what you're actually spending for your house, utilities, and upkeep, furnishings and such. So the lower of those three numbers, since we don't know what the lower of those three numbers will be, we cannot, by law, put an amount that we believe is tax exempt.
Okay. How come the churches have always been able to do that, and you were able to do that up until about 4 years ago?
The regulations became more clear.
Oh, I see. Well, it just puts an extra burden on the minister.
We understand that, but that is the requirement based upon the current law, the lower of the three numbers.
Okay. Well, I've just gone to a new tax person, and I have to help him understand all this.
Right.
I had another person for the last 10 years doing it, and she retired, so I had to find someone new. And then I had to explain this to him, that actually this housing allowance is permitted, and I gave him a copy of the previous tax forms, in fact, all of the stuff from the previous, done by the previous person. And I'm just hoping to get through it. I'm trying to help him and school him in what happens with the minister and the parsonage situation.
Okay.
And
he is welcome to call us. He's welcome to call us. We'll be glad to talk him through it.
Okay.
We also have a resource on the website to assist retired ministers as they prepare their tax return.
Yeah. Well, I've been doing taxes since probably 1958, and it's always been a fairly simple thing to do. But just since retirement and up until about 4 years ago, it's never been a problem. So I guess you've answered my question. That's what the regulations say.
That's right, and we regret not being able to give you more specificity, but given the way the regulations require the lower of the three numbers, we can't just simply declare a number.
Well, thank you very much for your help.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
And the next question is going to come from Jay Mitchell. And Jay, your line's open.
Yeah, hello.
How are you?
Good. I have a question regarding this death benefit you're talking about. Is that monies in addition to pension monies my wife will receive when I pass away? How does that work?
Yes. They are separate. They are separate benefits.
Well, that sounds wonderful. So, $10,000, or what's the amount? How does that work?
3 times your annual pension up to $10,000.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's great.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And our last question will come from Roger Heimer. Please go ahead.
I really appreciate the news that the special apportionment, or I get the two things confused, the 8.5% additional applies to the benefit accumulation or additional benefit account, as well as the TDAs and IRAs, has been a great question in the back of our minds ever since the differential was established between those accounts for the regular accrual, which raises the question, is that established for the next quarter, or what period of time is the regular percentage in effect?
This is Duncan Draper. The base rate of interest, which I think you're referring to,
base rate,
is looked at quarterly, and we will be publishing next quarter's rates within the next few days on our website. It will also appear on your quarterly statement in terms of what the new rate
would be for the next quarter.
Okay. I think I will take the opportunity to reiterate what I've said in a past telephone conference, that for some of us who still have the benefit accumulation accounts, it has been our practice to roll over as much as possible of the required minimum distribution from the tax-deferred account or the IRA, and you don't know what the rate is going to be until you get halfway or a couple months into the next year. I'm not trying to make a comparison with mutual fund accounts, except to say that if I took the RMD and put it in a mutual fund, I'd be paying several percentage points in front load with a mutual fund. So I'd prefer to have some security knowing that in future years you plan to or hope to do the same sort of thing in declaring additional benefits equally or nearly equally to benefit accumulation accounts as you do to IRAs and TDAs. Is that a clear kind of statement of need?
We understand the need, Mr. Heimer, but unfortunately our structure and policy will not allow us to make any such commitments. Every year the board and staff look at our position relative to our reserves, which is the excess position above our liability in those accounts, the account balances. And at that time, we make a singular decision for the prior year's average balances. And it's really just a point in time, and it's just impossible to predict how that's going to change from year to year. I think you referenced earlier in your question that when we first began sharing how the BA account and the TD accounts were going to have some separate performance structures, I know there was a lot of anxiety, a lot of questioning, but I think this is a confirmation that when good things happen in the markets, which they did last year, we are in position to return those favorable returns. I think we execute that plan, and that's the best that I can say. It's very, very problematic for us to try and get in and forecast what might happen in the next year.
Yes, I think that what we understand or know would be a question as to how your investments are made. If we even had a choice between a long-term investment and shorter-term investments, most of us want to put it in there for as long as we can, but you may feel you've got to put stuff into a bond fund instead of into growth funds in the BA, and if that's if that were a clear decision, then many of us would just begin moving the money out and saying, this is risky. So you understand the anxiety, and you've helped alleviate it a bit with this year's decision.
Roger, I would remind you though that if you recall over the years of the benefit accumulation account, some years we've done good experience credits, a few years we've not. In the last 43 years have been 7 years when that has not happened.
Yeah.
And 5 of them have been in this century.
That's
now. But on the other hand, and here's where I was going with that. The element that you need to understand and recall is that if you were in mutual funds in 2008, 2009, you would have taken a significant loss, and none of our accounts had any loss during that time frame. In fact, during that time frame, they were still earning 3%. So if you average it out over time, I think you will find that the returns have been very generous indeed.
Well, we're leaving it there for now, and we'll take a look at it again next year then.
we always do. Good to talk to you, my friend.
Thank you.
And no further questions at this time. We do have one queuing up to speak with an operator. It'll be just a moment.
Oh, sure. Do you see the 6-digit ID for that one that you need to change?
Yes, other operators.
And as we wait here, it is, again, *0 to get your name to an operator.
Got that open?
And we've got a question from Roger Colm. Please go ahead.
I'm wondering if there is any way to learn how much our check in July will be, the pension credit sort of bonus, one-time bonus check. Is that right? Is there any way we can learn what that's going to be prior to July, so as we make our financial plans for our lives? Or
Sure, Roger. Let me respond to two parts of your question. We will be sending out a statement probably late April, my guess, that will give you your current pension and what the future monthly pension will be. It's not a one-time bonus. Your pension will go up monthly by 6.5%.
But don't we receive some kind of a one-time check during the year that's sort of a bonus check? I may want to take a look at your particular account. What you may be referring to is the 13th check? Yeah.
Okay. I think we need to talk.
It's not the same as the monthly check.
Yeah, we will. I tell you what, let us call you and we can talk about that in particular.
All right. I appreciate that.
We'll call you tomorrow.
All right. Do you have my number, 425-640-8288?
Yep, we have it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And no further questions at this time.
Operator, let's make one more invitation.
I'm sorry?
Let's invite them one more time.
Okay, sure. And again, to get your name to an operator, it's *0. And if you've given your name to an operator, would still like to ask a question, then you could press *1. And we do have a question, follow-up from Roger Heimer. Please go ahead.
Yes. Because I had to miss part of this, I tuned in this afternoon and heard an answer to the question of what the effect of Affordable Care Act was on people receiving health care as retirees. And there's no change, evidently. I think that was the answer to the question, but I think people need to understand that there is a benefit, and one of the benefits is a wellness exam. And I'd just like to testify that the wellness exam to me was helpful because they told me I could get a free hearing evaluation, and of course nobody wants to hear that, but I got it, and finally got my hearing aids through True Hearing. And True Hearing, I want to know whether True Hearing is still going to be available as a discount plan for beneficiaries.
Well, Michael, to answer that question.
Roger, I'm glad to, I'm glad to hear that. Yes, it is a continued part of the VSP program and will be for the foreseeable future.
Okay, good. And it's a funny thing because I got a free exam with a place that happened to be a dispensary for True Hearing, and I would give my report that I got what I believe is a 22 to 25% discount, and I found out the difference, though, is you don't get a lifetime warranty or free appointments afterward, and that's one of the reasons that a discount can be offered. But I'm happy with it.
Good. We're glad we could do that.
Yeah, thank you.
And our last question at this point will come from Bennett Pogue.
This is not a question. It's just a statement of affirmation for your good work. This year is going to be fantastic with the 6.5% increase on our pension and the additional the good experience credits to my additional benefits account and others. You're doing a fantastic job, and I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciate it.
Thank you, Bennett. We appreciate your comment.
And no further questions at this time. And nobody queuing up at this point.
Nobody queuing up? Okay. Nope. Well, let's make one more call, and if there are no other questions, then I'll have a final statement.
Sure. And again, it's *0 to get your name to an operator to ask a question. And currently no questions in queue.
Okay. Well, then, thanks to all of you who have offered your questions this evening. I trust we have responded in a manner that is helpful. For those of you who we said we would call back, we will make arrangements tomorrow or as soon as possible to get that call to you so we can serve your needs. Our goal is always to take care of for the resources entrusted to us in a prudent and thoughtful manner, always taking care to address the unique requirements and risks associated with each of the programs we provide. We take great satisfaction that during the conversation, we've been able to talk about the good experience and special apportionments. Indeed, increasing the financial well-being of those who've accepted the call to Christian ministry and Christian service is our primary objective. You know that throughout the market crash in 2008 and 2009, no one lost a penny. It's nice to not only say that, but to add to your benefits as well. Know that all of us, staff and directors alike, will continue to focus on all of our energy, towards maintaining the pension fund's financial strength, even as we seek ways to serve more effectively and broadly within the life of the church. We thank you for the privilege of serving you and for your interest today and for your service to the church. We will schedule another forum when we believe we have an important announcement to make, information to share. Until then, please call or email us with any further questions you may have. It is our great honor to serve you. We offer and ask God's richest blessings upon each and every one. Good evening.
That does conclude our conference for today. Thanks for your participation. If you're using AT&T conference service, you may now disconnect.